Why in the world are trash fires, looters, rioters, lawlessness happening in Los Angeles, California? We're watching this over in Paris, France, and they look like savages. The behavior is un-American. And you got legislators like Maxine Waters and Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, giving cover to this so they can be defiant. Are you kidding me? Donald Trump should definitely send in the National Guard.
Many may would ask, geez, it seems like these riots that are going on in California are very, very well organized. And I would have to say, you know what? You might be onto something. How can something become such a large event so quickly in a calculated maneuver? Well, I speculated, and a lot of other people, especially in comment sections of the videos that I've done prior to this, they would say, oh, it's got to be George Soros, because it's always George Soros. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I won't argue with you on that, but it looks like people have figured out that we need to move. The Open Society Foundation understands that they have been exposed, and so we're, got to figure out other ways around this stuff. And then these people probably aren't responsible. It's got to be another group. So it's called the CHIRLA, Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles. So it's a Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights. And by the way, this is of Los Angeles. And I would say, because they say of Los Angeles, there's a good chance that there's other places as well. If I'm not mistaken, New York recently has had some violent protests that broke out right alongside of this. And I would wonder if there's a group that may have something to do with that. Quickly kind of moving along here, the CHIRLA, that group of people there, involved in that. Here's a little bit of information. So the group behind the current rioting in LA received nearly $34 million in revenue from government contracts during the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. And so, we heard John Podesta. There's videos of John Podesta talking about what their plans are so far as being able to have a staged event to take place to be able to blame conservatives for something bad happening to an illegal or a person that's non-white. So there's that. And that was right around the time when I think that was in 2023. It was, a year or so before the actual election. I think they seen the writing on the wall, understanding that they weren't going to be able to pull what they did, to do what they did. And so they started coming up with plans. Jamie Raskin also has some ideas that went alongside of being able to produce some sort of violent situation to occur, and that would get martial law involved. And so that plan itself hasn't came to fruition yet, but there was a lot of ideas on the table when it came to the left. And there's other people as well. I want to show you this other guy. Let's see. There's some of the pallets of bricks. There is there's some images there. YouTube does not want me to put out the actually. I tried to do a video where I showed a lot of the violence on the ground, and that did not fare out so well. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. Party for Socialism and Liberation. These people here, keep that in mind. These people have been the ones that's funded a lot of the signs and different lettering necessary to make this happen. And there's another guy. We're going to find the dude down here. He's this Chinese propagandist. Where am I at here? Thank you for sticking with me, by the way. Appreciate everybody for watching, too. Navel Singham. Real nice guy. That's what it says here. Being sort of a smarty patardy, but he's an activist who became a billionaire by pushing Chinese communist propaganda worldwide. This is an article written from a content creator off the Twitter X. But there's actual, this is Wikipedia, so it's not hard to find. It's from Wikipedia. It says Navel Roy Singham, born May 13th, 1954, is an American businessman and a social activist. He is the former chairman of ThoughtWorks. It is an IT consulting company that provides custom software tools, and consulting services, which he sold to private equity for $785 million in 2017. Very, very interesting. It's a lot of money. If you want, and just this is me speaking off the cuff and understanding how things work because I kind of just see things. Consulting firms are the easiest way to move money around wherever it needs to be. Like, you just, it's, if you give somebody a lot of money, it scrutinizes what they're doing. But if you work for them, if you do a little work, a good example is like if Bill Clinton goes and speaks at a college, he gets paid like $1 million for a 10-minute speech. So what does that $1 million do? Does Bill Clinton put that in his pocket? He puts some of it in there, and then some of it goes to other things that need to be funded that moves their agenda along. And so it makes it a legal way to move money around so that people can do things they want to do, which is usually, see, when it comes to these guys, it's our destruction of us. Why do they do that? Why people, there's still to this day you encounter people who just can't fathom individuals being that evil. But in 2019, Singham started a consulting business. Okay, and then like I said, consulting, you can just 10 minutes worth of work, you can name your price. He was a social supporter of Maoism, and according to the New York Times, Singham has provided significant funding for media outlets, organizations, and politicians around the world that promote Chinese government propaganda. So right off the gate, this Neville guy, not Neville, however you want to say it, Roy Singham, is got all the earmarks of globalist activity. And his father's name is Archibald Singham. That's pretty wild. Me and his father, my last name is Archibald, so that's pretty wild how that's... Anyway, Singham's father, Archibald Singham, was a Sri Lankan, while his mother was Cuban. And in his youth, Singham was a member of the League of Revolutionary Black Workers, a black nationalist Maoist group, taking a job at a Chrysler plant in Detroit in 1972 as okay, this is pretty weird. As an activist in the group, he attended Howard University before starting a consulting firm for equipment leasing companies from his Chicago home. So basically, he doesn't do anything at all. He just kind of just dingles around. And he's like 71 years old. Mighty young looking for 71. I don't know when that picture was taken. But there's that. And let's see here. So Natalie Winters, the group behind the Los Angeles riots, endorsed Adam Schiff's campaign, by the way. So this is back to the California Humane Immigrants' Rights of Los Angeles. They directly funded Adam Schiff's campaign. And he actually made an appearance, a celebrity appearance for these people. And money is going out in ways of organizing this thing to become what it is, a party for socialism and liberation. The Party for Socialism and Liberation is claimed a Marxist-Leninist political party. Let me read this so we'll expand this so we can see this. And this guys, I'd love to show you all the imagery that's there, but it's just what ends up happening is YouTube demonetizes it and doesn't want to allow that to come out. So I'm doing the best I can here, but and my phone's ringing, so we're going to wrap it up. But this Party for Socialism and Liberation is a political party in the United States funded in June 2024 after it was split from the Workers' World Party. Sorry, I'm kind of rushing. I'm American, but I'm having to move along kind of fast. The PSL has funded numerous movements within the Answer Coalition, including the movement to liberate Cuba from Statesian imperialism. So this is more of what this dude here. Oh, yeah, here we go, right here. Party for Social. These are the people who are paying for a lot of the signs and stuff. Let me go back here. I'm kind of moving around because I'm trying to. There we go. According to the data, Republican photos from the scene at the riots show chair-linked materials and professionally printed signs that trace back to the Party for Socialism and Liberation. By the way, it goes back to this guy right here, this dude here, and they goes back to so a communist group operating in the U.S. with no transparency and no registered nonprofit status. How's that? The group who printed the signs as part of Socialism and Liberalism is not a nonprofit. They are literally a communist party. So they built their business around communism. So, and they make signs and different things, and help to facilitate the workings of what you see here happening in real time. And I'm just wanting you guys to understand what we're actually dealing with, and it's really bad. We've gotten to this point. The PSL does not release membership numbers. In 2022, claimed organized presence in over 100 cities. That's a lot. And 2024 PSL was in over 50 cities across the United States. So they don't being they're a private company, they don't have to actually tell you anything. PSL is a Democratic Centralist Party, which means that all members, including those who disagree, are duly bound to publicly defend and carry out all PSL decisions. Let me read that again. PSL is a Democratic Centralist Party, which means that all members, including those who disagree, are duly bound. In other words, you have to roll. It's a gang. It sounds like a gang. PSL's highest body is its party congress, held every 2 to 3 years, which selects a central committee leadership. PSL is a central committee that can appoint up to 40% of members and delegates. In other words, they have a really strong political influence. Working a lot of split from Workers' World Party, headquarters in San Francisco, California, and in Washington, D.C. Oh, my goodness. Ideology, communism, Marxism, and Leninism. Political position, far left, and International People's Assembly. That's their international affiliation. Pretty dangerous group. So you're not just dealing with your average riots, or like, I would love to do a deep dive in who funded the riots whenever Rodney King did what he did, because that's something to think about. It's like a mirror image of that, and I'd love to show you a lot of the imagery, but you'll have to watch my video on Rumble to see that. It's pretty wild. I couldn't put it on YouTube. I can do it a little bit here and there, but I can't really deep dive into that. Anyways, guys, so that's what is going on with these. And if you think that this is a beta test, this is to see how Trump reacts. This is to see how governors react. This is to see how Americans react. This is a beta test. This is a beta test. It's a beta test. And they always want to. They won't roll this all out as one. They want to see how things. This is a practice run. This is a good little scrimmage game between authorities and rioters. These cells are placed all in strategic blue areas so they can kind of run their course. And what that does is allow. See, when all these states see blue areas get by with this, like these rioters not being charged, and you watch the media attack anybody that tries to stop them, that puts the sheriffs in states that would have protected you in a precarious position of whether or not they want to be popular with the media or they want to protect the people. And you would be very surprised as to what their choice might be, because, trust me, these people don't want to feel political pressure. And so, they're going to do this, and they're going to let the media show everybody what happens if you try to stand up against these people. And I've watched too many instances where, that these people did very violent things to police cars and ICE agents early on that wasn't addressed. And that was a big deal. You don't let bullies run things because they won't go away. They get worse. And so anyhow, I just wanted to show you where the money was going and what to expect. Expect this to not be the only place. New York's already got it going on. I can imagine Chicago may even start to show signs of this starting to happen, and Brandon Johnson allowing it to happen. Texas is going to have some issues. Man, Arizona, dude. Yeah, this could get real wonky. North Carolina, you guys are probably on the radar for this to happen. You've got a really crappy governor, and you've got a really mismatched system of judicial people. You've got a lot of people, especially where I'm from, that switched from Democrat to Republican just to get elected. when it comes to district attorneys and sheriffs. And that could be a problem because their Democrat side will come out. That's a real thing. So I don't know. Yeah. Have storable food, guys. All right. Thank you for watching. I'm out.